tutorial by Learn Fast Studios.
Welcome back, guys. In this session, let us learn how to implement decision making and branching statements in Python. Basically, we have several decision making and branching statements available in Python language. Starting with number one, simple if statement. The simple if statement will help us to check for a specific condition. If the condition is satisfied, then to execute a block of statements. Otherwise, it will not execute that block of statements or skip that block of statements. Let us see the syntax. Syntax: if condition colon and then tab, we call it as in suit. The block of statements here I am calling it as in suit. So whenever this condition is satisfied, then this block of statements will get executed. Otherwise, it will skip. So now let us take one scenario and execute a block of statements if a given condition is satisfied. For example, I want to read a number, and if the number is greater than 10, number is greater than 0, then only I want to perform the division. Now let us take one scenario. I want to read two numbers. One is a numerator and then second one is a denominator. I want to perform the division if and only if the denominator is greater than 0. Otherwise, I don't want to perform the division. Let us take two of the variables, numerator and denominator. Let us read these two values. In order to read, we will be using the input method. Int input, enter, numerator, then denominator equal to int input, enter. In this case, we are considering both the numerator as well as the denominator to be an integer value. If you want to read a decimal value, that is also possible. Simply you need to change the int method to the desired data type. Now let's get started and then see we have successfully completed this reading of the two numbers. Here hash is used to refer that compiler has to ignore this statement while converting that into the Python bytecode. You can also mention the multiple line comments using 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes. Let us try this later. For the time being, let us continue with the agenda. Our agenda is we would like to perform the division if and only if the denominator value is greater than 0. Now we want to check the quantity that we have stored in the denominator is greater than 0 or not. For doing this, we will be using the relational operators. There are a set of relational operators available in Python. which will check the existence of the given relationship between the two operands. The list is given like this. Is used to check equality between two operands, and for checking the greater than is greater than, then we are having is less than, greater than or equal to, then less than or equal to, and finally not equal to. Is not equal to. So these are the various relational operators widely used in Python to check the existence of a given relationship. Suppose if we are having the quantities 10 in A and then 10 in B, suppose if you make it like an A equal to B, then this will result in true. If the values in A and B are different, then the resultant of this relational expression will be false. Now, by using this, we are going to perform the division of numerator and then denominator if and only if the given denominator value is greater than 0. In order to check that condition, we will be using the decision making and branching statements. So the decision making and branching statements in the Python syntax is given like if condition colon, then I have to mention the suit. This is the syntax. Now the condition what I need to frame here to check whether the given denominator value is greater than 0 or not. For this, we need to use is greater than operator and then form one relational expression in between the denominator value and then 0. So now let us replace this condition to denominator is greater than 0. Then the suit of statements will say that print numerator by denominator. Now we will only perform the legal arithmetic operation between the numerator and the denominator, the division operation, only if the case of the denominator is greater than 0. Otherwise, we are not going to do anything. Finally, we want to execute the statements print program task completed. Let me tell you one more important thing, that Python does not use opening bracket as well as in closing bracket for grouping set of statements. Here we will be using the indentation colon followed by the indentation to group a set of statements. Whenever we keep this colon, and then from thereafter we need to give a single tab in front of the next followed lines that you want to keep it in the group. Here we are having only one single statement. If you don't want to keep any statements here, it expects at least one statement in the suit. So suppose if you don't know what are the statements that you want to write in the suit, then um, in order to fill the statement block, we can make use of the pass statements. Let us discuss about these pass statements later. For the time being, let us try to execute this statement. Let me simply explain one more time what is our agenda. Our agenda is to read two numbers and check whether the denominator is greater than 0 or not. If the denominator is greater than 0, then this print statement will get executed. Otherwise, it will skip this particular statement and go to the last statement in this program, which is nothing but to print the task completed. Let's get started executing this code. Now it is asking me to enter the numerator value. The numerator value, let us make it as an 100 in the first use case, and the denominator value 0. So in this particular case, it should not perform the division, and finally it needs to print the operator, print the display message. Finally, it needs to print the display message, which is task completed. Now let us check that. Okay, got our desired output. Now let us check within one more output use case. Let us again execute our code. In order to execute that code, now again press F5, function F5, and this time let us give 100 and then 10. Now we have executed this division expression, and then we got the resultant value 10.0, and later we executed this task completed statement. Now you can closely observe this code. If you closely observe, the execution of this particular suite of the statements is dependent on the given condition. If this condition is satisfied, then only it will execute. So the decision that to execute this statement or not is dependent on a particular condition. If the condition is satisfied, then only we are executing this block of statements. That is how the decision making and branching statements will help us to write or program a certain complex kind of an applications. That's all for this session. In this session, we have learned about various relational operators that are existent in the Python, starting with is equal to operator, is greater than operator, is less than operator, is greater than or equal to operator, is less than or equal to operator, is not equal to operator. And then we also learned the syntax of the if statement, how we can perform decision making and branching statement using the simple if statement. And we learned about how the grouping is done in the Python by using the simple colon operator followed by the indentation. We also learned about how to write down the single as well as in multiple line comments in Python. Single line comments in the Python are denoted by using the preceded operator called as an hash. Multiple line comments are used can you can create the multiple line comments by using triple quotes forward and then post. You embed any text in between the triple double quotes or triple single quotes, then these statements will be ignored. That's all for today's agenda. Thank you guys. Happy coding.